Could 2025's Week 0 top college football's 2024 opening weekend? The answer to that question should be a yes, with the slate of games opening up the new season. For one, no team in Week 0 is playing an FCS opponent, even though in last year's openers, Montana State beat New Mexico and Delaware State tested Hawaii. This time around, we have the the Mountain West, taking on the Big 12, two top Conference USA programs in a super early matchup, Hawaii hosting Stanford, and K-State versus Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland. So, with the first game and the only top 25 matchup which will occur across the pond, by the way, we'll be watching along the Wildcats and Iowa State on Rumble August 23rd. Consider tuning in. Both programs are favorites by some in the media to win the Big 12 going into 2025, with the elusive Avery Johnson starting his second year at quarterback for Kansas State, and veteran QB Rocco Beck begins his third campaign for Iowa State. Also, this game's winner the last 3 seasons has been determined by single digits, so this should be another banger in the Emerald Isles, like last year's opener where Georgia Tech upsetted Florida State with a walk-off field goal. Game 2 is Fresno State at the newly renovated David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, as the Jayhawks dual-threat quarterback Jalen Daniels returns, plus joining him in the backfield portal pickup from Iowa, LaShawn Williams. The Birds of Lawrence will have to iron out their lineups early on, as they have a good amount of transfers from the offseason on both sides of the ball. While the Valley Dogs have a new head coach in Matt Ince, who just came to Northern California from USC and was the former head coach at North Dakota State from 2019 to 2023, where he won 2 FCS national championships and Coach of the Year awards with a 60-11 record for the Bison. So anticipate Fresno to keeping it close, as they usually do against power conference foes, regardless of who is in charge. On to Game 3 with Sam Houston State heading to Bowling Green to take on Western Kentucky, where the Bearcats with a K had a breakout 2024 by finishing 3rd in Conference USA with a 10-3 record in only their 2nd season at the FBS level. Have a former OC returning as head coach in Phil Longo, whose previous run as offensive coordinator had Sam Houston's offense at the top of the FCS by averaging 547 yards per game back in 2014. Their hosts in Week 0 and runners-up in Conference USA for 2024, the Hilltoppers, who hands down have one of the best mascots in college football, shout out Big Red, come into 2025 with a monster transfer portal, and I mean monster portal, with 15 of their 22 expected starters in 2025 coming from college football free agency. Head coach Tyson Helton should keep the Toppers competitive for his 7th season in charge, even with the overhaul of new faces, and continue their 2-game winning streak against the Bearcats with a K. And finally, the game that will have the sun still out while it's pitch black at your house, the Honolulu Warriors host the Nerds of Palo Alto. With the most interesting thing to point out about this game is the amount of fans that will show up to this contest versus the matchup next season at Stanford Stadium. Just kidding. Anyways, Stanford's young quarterback Elijah Brown, who comes from the best high school program in the nation, Mater Dei in Santa Ana, is the expected starter this upcoming season for the Cardinals, and will be throwing to a mostly transfer portal wide receiver core, while Hawaii, who also has a young quarterback, but from the number 2 high school program in the country, Bishop Gorman, Micah Alejandro, who led the Rainbow Warriors to a win in the final week of the 2024 season, throwing for 469 yards along with 5 touchdowns in a game against New Mexico. So maybe, just maybe, the game in Honolulu might be worthy to stay up for, especially if you are a true college football fan. Okay, we'll see you guys again for some more week-by-week previews for the 2025 college football season. And bye-bye for now from the couch.